man. I don't even know what to call you anymore. It's like Marko Miami, Marko Muzik. We're gonna have to find like some new.
It was Marko Miami. Now it's like Marko.
Cool. So I don't think we've talked about this before, and I want to see if you remember how we first met.
So I think we first met. That's a good one because I have a few situations. Okay. One, I think was in Ibiza.
Okay.
And we actually had the houses rented next to each other.
Okay.
And I knew there was a house full of girls back there, and we were throwing parties every day. And Craig David, who's a friend of both of ours, was staying, at our house, and he was DJing and doing pool parties. And I think they were like, yeah, the next house, there's this guy Zark. And, he's coming over. He's coming over with a crew. He runs Toronto. He's got all the clubs. So I can't remember if it was that time or if it was the time in Cannes, where we were all gonna go out on this boat, and we were getting ready to go on the boat, and here we come with Tito, from who's a good friend of yours and ours, and we went on the boat, and all of a sudden it was like, we can only fit 12 people on the boat, and I knew right there it was, you don't know me really, I'm out.
Yeah. So. I want to apologize for that. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I do remember the Ibiza thing because I had known Craig, and we came over, and we all hung out.
Crazy scene, so.
Yeah, and I don't think we actually got a chance to meet like proper, but we were all amongst mutual friends. But it was a con thing because I remember Tito said, yeah, my boy Marko's coming with Michael, and they've got a bunch of models with them. They're gonna come out with us. We're going to Saint-Tropez on the boat. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is awesome. And we saw you coming on the boat, and then the captain starts saying something in French, and Tito's like, oh no, and starts talking in French, and then Tito's like, yeah, man. This is a problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously felt terrible because, you had a great crew with you, and you and the girls, especially the girls, had to get off the boat. But anyways, yeah. So we didn't actually.
I was looking forward to Saint-Tropez because I'd never been. So, but you know what? I was actually hungover as hell. So when we got off the boat, I was like, all right, I'm cool.
Yes. So yeah, I remember that was the first time that Tito had told me about you and told me, you and Michael do all these great parties in Miami. And then I think it was like maybe a year later I was in Miami and we actually got a chance to meet, and I'm glad you don't hold grudges, and now here we are in LA.
I know the rules. I know the rules of the boats and the trips, and
yeah, they're being tight. So yeah, here in LA at the Muzik head office.
Yep.
And you made the move from Miami.
I just made the move a month ago.
Okay.
And it's been interesting. It's been something I've been thinking of for a while now. This company started 5 years ago in Miami. Jason Hardy, the founder, CEO, and we became really good friends. And when he decided to create this company, he wanted me to be a part of it and use all the connections that I've made in nightlife to, turn it into something else. So the goal was always, to be full-time with this company. It just took a little bit of time, and the company came out here 2 years ago, and I remember he called me and he was like, are you ready to come to LA? And I was like, yes. Like literally, like, I'm ready. And it took a couple years, and I got into a great position where I was in my nightlife career with the W and K&R, so I really had a great time the last few years. And then it was just this was just the time to come out and pursue what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, nice. So what's your role currently with Muzik? What are you doing with the company?
I'm the director of partner relations. So what that entitles is we have an amazing roster of celebrities, ambassadors that also invested in the company that consist of athletes, supermodels, artists like Drake, Kevin Hart, Paul George, Chris Paul, Von Miller, Novak Djokovic. So we have an amazing portfolio of athletes and ambassadors. So I get to kind of be the communication with our company and their company, and working directly with our president and CMO to kind of relay the marketing through them and keep them up to date what's going on, tell them what we need them to be doing, making sure they know what's going on with the company, and also looking for other good opportunities to plug in our event. Being in the hospitality world, I've thrown parties and been at parties, so I've met a lot of people in that industry, so I know where's the cool place to throw a party, or who the right partners are to throw the party with.
And you're leveraging your relationships and your knowledge and experience to make sure the brand is at the right spots with the right people.
Of course.
And definitely a great segue from what you've been doing for many, many years into something 10 years. Yeah. So tell me a bit about that. See, because I mean, we've known each other for probably about 6, 7 years now. And you know, when I met you, you were just Marko, the man in Miami that rolled with a harem of models. You know, I don't know much about the beginning. So how about you share a bit of that?
So the beginning was, I just finished college at Clemson University. I had a tennis scholarship, and tennis was always my top priority. I wanted to be a tennis pro, tennis pro, tennis pro. And I finished Clemson, and I ended up moving to Florida because I found a coach.
And sorry, where's Clemson?
In South Carolina. It was an ACC school, and I went there because of the coach and the program, and I needed a little bit of discipline, and that coach was notorious for that. Very famous for, you know, disciplining and being hard on the athletes. So I went there and had a degree in sports marketing, and after decided to pursue my career in professional tennis. And I wanted to be based in Florida, California, because you got to be where the warm weather is, and that's where all the players and coaches are. So I moved down to Florida. I found an amazing coach and started training from here. And I got injured right away. My wrist was bothering me, and had my first surgery that didn't really resolve anything. Rehab, therapy, training again, trying the pro tour. I was traveling around the world, playing like the lower level ATP tournaments, and my wrist kept bothering me. And that's when I just decided, I remember specifically I was in a tournament in Florida, and my wrist was just so bad, and I just said, that's it, I can't do it anymore. And I was actually really relieved. I was like, I knew that was the end, and all the blood, sweat, and tears, and therapies, and ices, and surgeries, and ultrasound was finally kind of over. And now I was like, okay, time to start a new life. And that's when I was like, I'm living in Miami, let's party. You know?
So no regrets. Like it was.
No regrets. I mean, the tennis world. Actually, I have a great network from my tennis world, and I got to meet a lot of cool players. And the fact that I play tennis kind of got that relationship and bond even closer. And I end up getting me closer with some of my good clients from friends, that love playing tennis. And I come out there and kick their ass, and they respect you a little more, So I love tennis. It was a great part of my early career, and got me to where.
And how did you make that transition from tennis into nightlife?
So when I was living in Florida, my roommate at the time was this kid, Kevin Hawk, and he was a model at the time and also playing tennis, and he was telling me about all the great parties and the girls and the models and the nightclubs, and I was just fascinated, by the South Beach scene. I remember him taking me to a Wilhelmina party the first time, and I felt like a kid in a candy store, and I was like, I remember at Privé, and I was like, wow, this is insane. Like, I didn't know this world existed. And kind of right then is where like I really got fascinated with the scene, and I started going out a little more, and he started taking me to these parties that I thought were like impossible to get into, but yet like I was getting into them. And then just through, and because of that, I got into modeling. I got signed by Wilhelmina, and I was just partying my ass off, doing modeling because it was fun, convenient, a good way to meet people, to travel, booked a little bit of work, and that's kind of where I started meeting models and going out, and I became, I guess, really good at, taking people out, showing people a good time. And when I got offered to make a little bit of money, because I was dead broke, living on my friend's couch, doing bartending, catering, any kind of job that would pay the bills.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 25, 26. So, I mean, 25 years old, I didn't know what I was really going to do. I was coaching tennis to make a couple bucks on the side, modeling a little bit, and then I got offered, $150 to go host a table, bring some models, and get a bottle at the table, and that's kind of how it all started. I met my business partner, Michael Malone, who was actually doing the same exact thing, doing like one party, trying to model, working at Starbucks at the time, and just had a good knack for it, and we had a lot of fun, and people were attracted to that energy and vibe, and it just kind of took off from there.
Okay, and you guys have had quite the run. I mean, from when I met you, you were already promoting all the top venues, and you've always had a great quality crowd, always have a very lovely table. So over the years, you've been able to maintain that relationship, the relationships, and that quality of event and whatnot. What would you say were some of the I guess, key factors or qualities of what you and Michael do that have allowed you to have longevity and still remain at the top?
Yeah, I mean, the nightlife business, as you know, is relationship building and holding those relationships, and also just being true to your friends and really showing them a good time. So, it was pure natural for us, just enjoying ourselves, having the best time of our lives. So it came really natural to us. And obviously we kept, good values and morals, and didn't let any, little corruption or
Wait, values and morals in nightlife?
Yeah, values. Yeah, hard to say. But yeah, there was up till 2 a.m. And we just kept a really good circle of friends that trusted us and supported us. And, through that, our family kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger and tighter. And yeah, of course, there's always new people coming in that want to be a part of it. But we had a good core of friends. And obviously, without your friends and your family, your business is not going to grow.
Got it. Okay, so 10-year run in Miami, throwing a lot of the best parties and all the venues. And now you're making this switch over to LA. So what is it about being in LA and the lifestyle here? Why are you ready to leave there? Like, what are you trading it in for?
I love Miami, and I could be back in Miami in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But I knew my passion was here, and the opportunity for business was here. Hospitality was an amazing business, but it just didn't really drive me anymore. I wasn't waking up every day like loving what I was doing. Yeah, I loved certain nights, and I loved being with my friends, and I loved showing them a good time, but it was more the wear and tear on the body, and I was starting to enjoy waking up earlier and being more productive during the day. And I found other ways of business, other businesses that intrigued me. Outside of nightlife. And the transition to LA, I mean, was for this company. If the company was in Alaska, I probably would have moved to Alaska. So LA wasn't even really on my radar until the company moved out here. And then I started coming out here like once every month to 6 weeks, and just seeing the opportunity out here and seeing the business that was going on here. I knew that this was the next step in the career.
Got it. And I mean, well, not a bad place to relocate to.
It could be worse.
And how are you enjoying the LA, California lifestyle? Because obviously Miami, people go to Miami for vacation, like, oh my God, I want to live here. It's so amazing. And you obviously know, being in Miami, you're like on this little island, and it's very repetitive over and over. LA, Southern California, whole different list of options. And
it's a whole different world, and I've never lived in a big city. I've lived in a bunch of places, but never a big city. So I was super excited to get out of here, and I was like, this is it. And then I came here, and I was kind of like, oh shit, this is a big city. And I was like, oh, I just left my friends, I left my job. It was a little scary at first, and then it takes time to adjust a little bit. But I just look at the opportunity, and I mean, living out here, there's so many things to do. Now I'm living a healthier lifestyle. I'm going to bed earlier. I'm waking up earlier. It was a whole shift, from this nocturnal, mainly lifestyle to now corporate world. But discovering all the parts of LA makes it better every day. Sure. After checking out Malibu, then you go to Santa Monica, Venice, then you do a hike and you just see LA from a whole different point, and you're like, wow. This is where like dreams are made of.
Totally, yeah. And I always tell people, LA can be whatever you want to be. It can be a very weird, sketchy town. It can be super healthy and holistic and yoga and organic and vegan and all that. And then, like you said, hiking, Runyon Canyon. You can go bike riding. You can go surfing. It really is a great quality of life. I could definitely see myself spending more time in Southern California, especially when it's February in Canada and we're dealing with 2 feet of snow. But from the time I've known you, you've always been healthy and in shape. Like, working out and staying fit has always been an important part of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in that sports, lifestyle. I mean, my dad was waking up at 6 a.m. to go train, to go hit serves, to get ready. I always, I went to college where we were training 3-4 hours a day. So I always loved fitness, and I was always training and working out. But up till about 2 years ago, as I really decided to make a change in my overall health. Where
And what instigated that change?
Age.
Age. I could relate. All right.
No, it was
how old are you now?
I'm 37. Be 38 in May, and I remember specifically it was around 35 where the hangovers were getting worse. It was, I wanted to do more stuff during the day rather than be sleeping till 2, 3 in the afternoon. And shit, what was I gonna say?
Age, man, you're getting old. It's just happening. Yeah.
Alzheimer's. No, it was, I remember I woke up on my 36th birthday and we went pretty hard that night and late, and I woke up and I could barely go to the kitchen to get food the next day, and I stayed in bed till Monday, and I got up and I still felt like shit, and I said, that's it. Like, that was, like, I can't do that to my body anymore. It's just, it's not where I want to go. And then, just through like cutting out alcohol, like in a big way, not completely, but like 95% almost down from how we used to drink and party, and just to diet, changing the diet and being really strict and having those targets that I want accomplished of my body and health, and that really changed everything.
And I could totally relate, because as
and
you get older,
watching you all the time on Instagram and all your stuff. So congrats, that was amazing.
I appreciate that.
What you did.
Thank you. And for me, the gym's just always been what's kind of helped be my guiding light. Where, it's late at night. Could you go out for drinks and have some fun?
Yep.
Yeah, but want to go train in the morning. So yeah, it's definitely helped me keep focused. So it sounds like you're definitely in transition from one chapter of your life, a pretty wild, adventurous chapter of your life, into something a bit more, healthy, and sounds like more aligned with what you want for your life.
Yep.
And definitely, like, one thing I've noticed when I have made a conscious decision to start focusing on projects that are just more aligned with the direction that I want to go, it's amazing how the right people and the right opportunities and things just start to flow when you're living in alignment, which is good. And it's great to hear, because sometimes people just get so caught up in that life that they just, I don't want to say names, but there are some people who are well into their 50s and they're still doing it, right? Nothing wrong with that, but comes a time where you're just looking for fulfillment in other ways, right? So I know you have a bunch of projects outside of the nightlife stuff. What would you consider to be like one of your proudest accomplishments, like one of the things that you were still involved with and have big plans for?
I would say Model Volleyball is a really cool project that we started 8 years ago with my partners Olivia Ormos and Michael Malone, and now Skylar Hosworth just became our 4th partner. So this is an event that Ocean Drive used to do, and they kind of gave up on it, and it used to be one of the, I remember coming first year and just seeing all these models playing beach volleyball, and I think NSYNC was performing, and fashion show, and sponsors, and I was like, it doesn't get any better than this. And they stopped doing it, and we were like, it was probably the 2nd year we were promoting, and I was just like, Michael, let's do this, and we partnered with Olivia at the time, who was great with events and marketing and PR, and we pulled it off in 3 months, raised enough money to pull off an event. We did it at Nikki Beach, and now the event's grown, to the point we're doing major productions on 8th and Ocean, and now we're looking to expand the brand into LA and into other cities.
Yeah, and you took it to the Hamptons.
We took it to the Hamptons. It was a great success. We actually raised a decent amount of money for charity. It all went to charity, where we built a medical facility in Haiti, because we like to tie in, the Jack Brewer Foundation's a big partner of ours and one of our best friends. So any event we do, we always tie it in with his charity. And then we actually got to go to Haiti to see the hospital and facility that was built with those funds. So that was a cool stop. We probably won't do Hamptons again, maybe a pop-up, but the plan is to do LA this year, and then do New York City, and then branch out into Cape Town, Australia. I mean, we've been approached by other cities. it was just the amount of time of really scaling this event, and I think LA is the perfect city to do it, which is great because I'm here and people are actually like ready for it, keep asking me about it. So that's a really cool project, and my partners do an amazing job with that because they're really focused on that in Miami and while I'm here.
Yeah, I remember. Well, great to hear.
You were a part of it, and sponsoring us. Thank you for contributing to.
That was fun because I had heard about it, and I've always seen the photos through your social media, and it just seemed like a good fit for Over Easy. And yeah, I remember being there, and it was just a wild time. Like there's like what 7, 8 model agencies, and they're just going all day, 2 days in a row, competing in bikinis. And
there's 10 to 12 agencies, and all day Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. they're competing. And then the last day, there's obviously the quarter semis, finals. And last year we had Travis Scott perform. The year before, Joe Jonas in dance perform. So
what are the upcoming dates for model volleyball in case anybody out there wants to fly to Miami for it?
I highly recommend. It's actually this weekend, so probably by the time this comes out, it won't be there. But we're looking to do LA this summer. It's going to be early summer, and we'll definitely keep everyone posted through our social media. But we normally do it in February, March, depending on when the city kind of gives us the permit. Last year was in March. This year it's in February.
And the website for that is modelvolleyball.com. Okay, cool. And I'll put that link down below so you can check it out. So you said something that I think is really, really awesome, and I want to get your perspective on it because I wish more people understood what it felt like. You've been to Haiti a few times.
Yep.
And it is a trip, whether it be Haiti, Kenya, India, whichever country you may visit, that changes you forever.
Big time.
So I want to hear what that was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was something that became part of our event. And I remember the first year I didn't actually go down because I just didn't really have the urge and desire to go to a place like Haiti. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll support. But when it was time to actually go down there, I kind of made an excuse. I was just like, oh, I got to hold it down while you guys go and do your thing. So I didn't go, and everybody was like, oh, you missed the biggest life-changing opportunity, education, you have to go next year. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, I take your guys' word for it. And then when it was time to go and I actually went next year, I mean, it definitely changed my life. And just the things you see down there, you can't even imagine them through pictures, through videos, through people's stories. When you're sitting there and you see starving children and how poor of a place it actually is, and just the living conditions, you appreciate everything a lot more. And I remember when I came back to Miami, and I always like to tell the story, is I was living right by the hospital on Alton Road, and I'd go run down North Bay Road, and there was always all these huge villas on the water, and I would always look at the houses, be like, oh, I'm gonna live in the house like this, oh, that's the car I want, no, I want that Ferrari, no, this house is better. And I remember the day after I ran that street, and it's like a 25, 30-minute run. And I realized when I finished the run that I didn't look up once. And I was just looking at the road, and I was just thinking in my head that there's a bigger purpose to life. And it's all about helping and sharing and spreading the word and making the world a better place. And
yeah. And I obviously share your sentiment. It's one of those things where you almost wish you could transport someone there just for even an hour to know what these other human beings are dealing with, so that they could realize just how fortunate and blessed we are, because you go on a trip like that and you come back and you got nothing to complain about anymore. Nothing. It's like, oh, somebody cut you off at the light. You've got a car, asshole. Don't worry about it. Or,
you have electricity.
Your food shows up cold at the restaurant. Yeah, and it's crazy. That fact that Haiti is, an hour and a half from Miami. It's 4 or 5 hours from New York or Toronto. It shares the same land with the Dominican Republic. And on one side of the border, you have people at all-inclusives drinking champagne by the pool. And on the other side of the border, you got people who don't even have hydro. You have people who, are just, I don't even know what to say. And I'm just glad that we have that in common, and that you were there and share that sentiment. Because, the other thing I wish I could share with people is the feeling of gratitude and appreciation and fulfillment in helping these strangers. You're never going to see those kids again.
No.
They don't know who you are. They just know that these people came here, they helped us, and they left. And the time you spent there has altered the future for those children. And it's just for that, just to help. And that contribution, you know, people say, well, you know, I'm going to go and give back. It's like, yeah, you're giving, but you are getting 10 times what you're giving. And not to say that should be the motivating factor, but your whole life changes and everything is just that much better because you realize how lucky you are. You know, so it's amazing, and it's great that you do that. And
yeah, one of another thing I just thought of. So you know, I helped put together and hosted an event by this charity Les Couleurs. They do a creative educational program in Haiti, and you know, I helped raise money for the charity, and through the event in Miami, never went down with them. And then I remember on Christmas, Laura, who's the founder of the charity, she sent me a Merry Christmas picture, and it was her and the children holding up like a thank you Marko sign, and I was like, the best. Yeah. That was the best possible gift ever. And you're like, wow, it's because you actually feel the impact, and it's being there and then just seeing that, because a lot of times you don't know what you're giving, you know, what you're doing, what you're giving to, but when you actually see it or feel it, that's when you're like, whoa, wow, I can do that, I can make that, I can do that, you know, much difference for these people.
Yeah, imagine, like, they don't have food, they don't have the simple basic necessities of life, and some stranger from another country
just appears,
provided this. Like, I mean, I don't, thankfully we have, and probably will never have to know what that feels like, but just to know that people out there actually care for them, I'm sure is a great feeling when even their own people don't care. Like, the corruption in Haiti is crazy. And and hopefully, you know, more people decide to take a stand and make a difference there. And I would love to tell you more about what we're doing, and hopefully find a way to work together with us, you know, now committed to building a proper school in Haiti for the arts programs that we're funding. You know, we got a big project there we're taking on, so it'd be great to align with the Jack Brewer Foundation and see if we can collaborate on that one.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. It's you know, it's not this charity. It's how do we come together and make, you know, joint effort and make things better. That's how I always look at things. You know, maybe there's someone that adds more value. That, you know, everyone's got their own niche, but why not come together? You're all there for the greater good, and you know, you can make it that much better.
At the end of the day, it comes down to contribution, whether it's you're helping at the local food bank in your neighborhood, whether it be you're helping, you know, with fostering animals, or, you know, you're donating money overseas. Like, contribute in some way. You know, I think it's just our human responsibility. If you're in a place where you have the time, the resources, or the money, how could you not? You know, I mean, we're very fortunate. We got all that we needed in the Western world, and over there in many parts of the world, it's pretty crazy. You know, lately I've like going through my own personal journey, and also letting go of the idea of, oh, I want that villa here, and I want that friend, I want this and that. Because, you know, we come from a very materialistic, superficial world where, you know, we're conditioned to think that, yeah, you know, that's normal to have an SUV and a sports car and a house here and a house there. We just start to think it's normal. And then you take a trip like that, or, you know, for me personally, I've had my ups and downs with work and finances, and, you know, I really have come to realize that a lot of things that I was really hustling so hard for and sacrificing so many things that I thought were necessary, you know, I was sacrificing important things to chase what really wasn't necessary. So I've had a big shift myself in all that. So I'd like to hear what your perspective is on what it means to be a successful human.
So I think being a successful human means you're 100% happy with who you are, and you're fulfilling what your goals and dreams are. You know, if your goal is to do more things for charity, and you're successful at doing this, you're a successful person. You know, if you're achieving what you want in life, you're successful. And if you're overall happy with what you're doing, then I think you're a good human. I mean, obviously, if your goal is to be an asshole to someone and you're an asshole to everyone, you know, I don't consider that being successful. But
What do you think? What do you think makes people happy?
What makes people happy? I mean, definitely giving a piece of yourself, whether it's time, money, effort, or anything to help anybody. You know, I consider charity like any kind of help. If you're giving a friend advice, if you're stopping to talk to a homeless person here and there, if you're helping to the organization, you know, if you're giving anything from yourself to make the world a better place, whether from your friends to family to charities, I think that's one, you know, I think that's one pillar. You know, I mean, I think everyone's got different, everyone's got different values, you know, whether it's like, you know, being honesty, you know, being loyal. Yeah. There's I think different pillars. Successful is just being happy, and I think being happy inside with what you're doing, and know that what you're doing is 100% real, authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely agree. And you know, there's different ways to break it down. And when I took a look at sort of what really matters, like as humans, like what do we want that would complete us, right? That if we had all those areas in our life complete, that we would be fulfilled. Yep. We'd be happy. We would be successful, yep. Right? So I kind of break it down with relationships. Of course, relationships with your family, relationships with yourself. You know, there have been many studies that prove that there's a direct correlation between the quality of your relationships and your level of happiness. Because there are some people out there who are incredibly successful financially, but their kids don't talk to them. Yep. Or, you know, they have no friends. You know, their relationships are bankrupt. Yep. You know, so relationships, family, friends, and with yourself. Yep. You have to love and accept yourself for who you are and who you aren't. Because often these people who are very successful are driven by the fact that they're not at peace with who they are. So they're constantly buying more, consuming more, owning more possessions to make themselves feel better about who they think they're not, you know? And I can relate to that. When I look back on some of the purchases I made and the lifestyle I was living, it was because I wasn't complete. The relationship with the 8-year-old Zark in me, who used to get bullied and picked on and, you know, wasn't ever, you know, included in the baseball team or soccer team or cricket team, you know. I felt I had to live this life to make the 8-year-old. Yep. So, you know, definitely being in a better place and having a better relationship with myself has been a big, has caused a big shift with myself. You know, another pillar, like you said, contribution, you know, and being able to share and, you know, benefit others. Like you said, whether it's a 10-minute conversation with a stranger, just letting them know that, hey, I don't know you, but you're human and I care. That conversation can stop someone from, you know, going over the edge. Wealth. Now, when I say wealth, I don't mean like 120-foot yacht and multiple homes or whatnot. When I say wealth, I just mean money to afford the things you need. Not the things that you really, really, really want, but the things you need, you know, and having enough wealth to have security and to be able to contribute. You know, if we shifted our perspective on, you know, okay, yeah, you don't need to make $500,000 a year. Maybe you need to make $150,000 a year. You wouldn't be as stressed and focused and consumed to make that amount, you know, because again, it's one of those things of just wanting more and more.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop because, you know, you may get that 2018 Porsche and you love it for the first 3 months. And then you start worrying about where you're parking it. Valet dinged my rim, you know, put it in for oil change, you know, and then the
Porsche doubles over.
And then the 2019s roll out, and then you're like, I want that, you know. So possessions bring you temporary fulfillment, but it's not long term. Health, of course. You know, you have all the money in the world, but you know, you get that call. The doctor says, "Hey, Marco, those X-rays came back. We got to talk." At that point in time, it doesn't matter how much money is in your bank. You're like out of there. And so we talked about relationships. we talked about contribution, we talked about wealth, health, and I think the fifth pillar to being a successful human is fun, adventure, aliveness. You know, I know we share that quality. We like doing fun, active stuff that pushes our boundaries. Because as we get older, we get boring. You know, we get conservative, we get safe, we don't push beyond our own comfort zone, and yeah, we just start to slowly grow old and die. You know, and I think that when you can remain youthful in that sense and just keep pushing yourself and trying different things, one, you expand your network. You know, you also expand your knowledge, and it teaches you about yourself, that you can just keep growing and trying different things. Like, you know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, damn, I'm 43 and I'm still trying to learn all the time. You know, and I started shooting at 35. At 35, I picked up a camera, and it totally changed my life. You know, so so that's sort of what I feel are the pillars of what makes someone a successful human. And it's something that I want to share with more people, because I just started thinking about this a little while ago, because you know it. We have some friends that are very wealthy. They got everything in the world that they could possibly want materialistically, but they're just miserable. They're unhappy, you know, and it's like you almost just want to shake them and say, come on, man, like, you know, it doesn't have to be this way. But yeah. So I wanted to hear your perspective, because, you know, I consider you to be a very well-rounded person. You know, you live a big life, and I know you take care of yourself, and you definitely know how to have a good time.
No, those are the, no, you hit it. You hit it right on the head with all those things. I mean, those are the, you know, vital things of life. You know, and as I get older, I see that those things are more and more important. You know, obviously, the wealth is whatever, you know, you want, whatever you really want, but it's, yeah, like you said, what you really need, you know, and you got to be realistic with that and not be greedy. And that's when you go to other parts of the world and you see that kind of puts things in perspective. So it's good to have that balance. But yeah, like you said, health is a big thing. You know, I just had one of my good friends I grew up with, was my neighbor, just died. He got notice from the doctor. He had cancer, and 6 months later, he's dead. Amazing guy, kid I grew up with my age. And when you're like, okay, wow, and I'm like stressing over this little problem, and then you realize that, yeah, I got to take care of my body. You know, that's the most important thing. And you never know. I mean, people are dying at 35 every day. Like, you know, you never know. So you got to live life to the fullest and enjoy the day and be happy, you know, which is where, you know, you say have fun, whatever, you know, whatever you do, make sure you're, you know, you got a smile on your face and you're enjoying the moment, whether it's talking to a friend or, you know, jumping off a cliff or, well, I mean, not actually jumping off a cliff, but you know what I mean.
Cliff diving into water.
Yeah,
I get
cliff diving into
water.
So yeah, that was a good point.
So what's next for you? I mean, you moved out here, you're in LA, you're part of this amazing company. What's missing?
I mean, I'm perfectly happy with where I'm at. You know, I came out here with a mission to solely focus on work and really just go all in. You know, I just said I'm going to dedicate the next few years of my life to focus on my work. You know, I always worked and I had a good work ethic, but it was really over the last year and a half that I started kind of planning out, you know, my goals, my targets, what I wanted to do with my life, with my health, with my wealth, with, you know, my charity, the charities. So it's really improving daily, you know, so that's kind of my targets, is improving daily. I mean, yeah, family's going to come at one point. You know,
So you want kids?
I love kids. I would love a family. I mean, you know, I'm Croatian, Eastern European. So, you know, I have a great, you know, strong foundation with my family, and that's kind of the way it is there. I know it's kind of crazy in LA, New York, Miami, and a lot of the cities in this entertainment world that we live in, and especially being in the nightlife world was almost near impossible. But I think, yeah, eventually. But right now, it's just I have my goals with work, and you know, that's what I'm focused on right now, is just, you know, executing my fullest potential.
So just for the record, ladies, he is single, and he may be available by the time this, this video goes. Well, you know, they say when you're not looking, that's when it happens.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and I also can appreciate and understand the challenges of being in nightlife and traveling and having some options available to you and just trying to make it all work. But like you, family is also very important to me as well. And I've got a few years on you, so you know, it's something I've been thinking about.
So there's no rush, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, my brother just had a baby.
Okay, congrats.
So thank you. So I'm an uncle.
Okay.
And you know, it's funny. My dad has, my mom.
My sister just had a baby too, so I'm an uncle too.
Okay,
and
nice.
I actually have 2 nieces and a nephew.
Congrats. Yeah, and it's nice, you know, to see just the excitement and the love and the, you know, your parents' eyes just light up. There's this new little being in the family, so it's great.
And it gives you some more time.
You know, actually, my parents have always been pretty chill with me about getting married, having children and whatnot. And my dad, for the first time ever, said,
"What's up, Dark?
What's going on?" You know, he said, like, when are you going to stop effing around and, you know, and find someone, you know? And I just try to explain to him, Dad's like, look, it's not that I don't want it. It's just, personally, I feel like I just haven't been ready. Even though I thought I'd been ready, and even though I was looking, I just wasn't ready, you know? And like you, I just said, I want to keep working on myself and get to know myself better. So when that person comes into my life, it's like, okay, you know, I'm the best version of myself that I can be for them, you know. So
no, I agree, and that's exactly where I'm at in my life, where I'm still, you know, discovering myself. I finally, you know, at 37 years old, I'm kind of like, I know who I am and where I want to go. So it's, you know, it's a lot about focusing and making myself a better person.
And it's a great feeling when you're getting older and you feel more and more comfortable in your own skin, that you start to know with clarity what you want, what you don't want, and how to filter the crap out, you know. So that's cool. That's great. I mean, it sounds like you're in a good place, and I look forward to seeing what you create out here in LA. And I want
to. Just before I remember.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
A custom color. This is actually my favorite color, and we just made these again.
Sweet.
So here it is.
Amazing. Okay, yeah, because you know I was really sad. Somebody stole mine out of my office.
I remember.
And I was so bummed. And these are amazing. And the sound quality on these is like amazing. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And yeah, love the color too.
It's actually my favorite color, and Keith, who does all our customs, just made those. So
yeah, they fit.
I hope so.
And you know, I was going to offer you, you know, a proposition that I'll keep an eye out in Canada for you for like a nice, good, normal Canadian girl.
Nice Canadian girl, okay.
And you know, and maybe here in LA, you know,
the good LA girls, or Miami. Miami. No, just kidding. There's a lot of good women all over the world. We're joking.
There's amazing women everywhere. It comes down to us.
Of course.
Really, you know, even when I think about my previous relationships, all my exes have been amazing women. It was me who wasn't able to see them for who they really are and were at the time, and just letting go of my expectations. You know, it's like I've walked into every relationship with this list of expectations, and that poor young woman, she stood no chance, you know, and I think that's the big thing. It's like you said, not looking, letting go of those expectations, and just being open, you know, just meeting people and just getting to know them for who they are, and just accepting them for who they are, and that's it, you know. I mean, it's interesting when you start looking at it from that perspective. But I have no doubt that here in Los Angeles, you are not going to be lonely, and you're gonna meet a few new friends. So,
yes, I hope so. I have a lot of great overall friends, but yeah, there's you know, there's a beautiful crowd in LA, and you know, it's great for networking. Yeah.
Now the key is just find someone equally beautiful inside.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man, that sounded like a greeting card. That was so
it's like
nice.
a postcard.
No, but look, man, I'm happy you're out here in LA, and you know, gives me one more great reason to come out here. So
yeah, thanks for making the time.
No
this was
problem.
a nice last minute surprise.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, you know, I remember you told me you're coming back and forth, and now you're here. So now you just need to get you know, an apartment with a pull-out couch, and I'll come see you more often.
It's there. It's ready.
All right, perfect. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you you for the headphones.
Of
They're
course.
awesome.
My pleasure. Enjoy them.